everyone, and welcome to another episode of Monday Night Insights. I'm your host. My name is Pia Maffei, and joining us today, we're super excited, is my good friend Beth, and she's in the middle between Dina and I. Dina's back again with me for another week of this great information that we're about to give to you today. So our topic is 10 phrases that I think people say and use on a regular basis to describe clean eating. So I want to start there with our topic, and if you're just joining us or just starting to, please make sure to go to www.iamacleaneater.com where you can learn about the 10 commandments for clean eating and so much more information that's on there. But we've got a lot to talk about, so let's start with before I've owned this store for 5 years now, okay? So I had a definition myself of what clean eating was. What was, Dina, let's start with you. Okay. What was your definition before you met me, before you started on any of this? What was your definition for clean eating?
Was more, I titled it as healthy eating, and it was basically no fast food, low fat, sugar-free, trying to stay away from carbs, desserts, no ice cream, this kind of stuff.
Okay. How about you, Beth? What was your definition?
My definition initially was pretty close to what kind of vegans follow, which is mostly plant-based, no animal products, and avoiding certain kinds of processed food. And that was pretty much what I equated it with.
Perfect. Because that has met my list of 10 of these kinds of phrases, I think, that we use that have been, I think, just certain lifestyles have hijacked completely the clean eating lifestyle when it's not.
Right.
And so I want to get into that.
Kind of the celebrities I grew up with, there was this kind of glorification of the vegan lifestyle.
Yes.
It's like this absolute, celebrity glamorized version of, and all of them were starting to do that. And, while it was a great idea, obviously, as a cruelty thing.
Yeah.
But they were glorifying it as almost the only way to eat healthy. Or like this was the way.
Their
this
idea.
Was their idea
of
it.
eating healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and it was more about activism.
Yeah.
And not really about clean eating.
Right.
Okay. So my definition of clean eating when I opened my store 5 years ago, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but I will say it.
Oh, we said ours.
Mine's worse. Well, if I'm not eating at a 5-star restaurant, that was it. That was my definition of clean eating. It had to be at a 5-star restaurant.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the pinnacle of clean eating because, oh my God, you go into this restaurant and there's beautiful decor and everything's made really nice and there's a maitre d' and you're spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then I came to realize, oh, guess what? Cisco just dropped off all the food. And
it's what I learned by working at some of those, fantastic restaurants, that had these glamorous reviews and top star chefs and everything like that. And, what I realized is the thing they all had in common is the Cisco truck.
The Cisco truck.
The Cisco truck comes out back.
And canola oil.
Yeah, and canola oil. Yeah.
Right? So it's so crazy.
But there was nothing wrong with you thinking that way because that industry is designed around that idea.
Yes.
The molecular gastronomy, the pinnacle of high class food and high class restaurants, they spend a lot of time,
trying to convince you. Yeah,
and there's a whole industry about that.
Oh, for sure. This is what drives me crazy is they spend so much time and money on the menu, the decor, and all of this stuff, but then they serve you the worst industrial food, because that's all it is, it's all industrial food. It's not even industrial organic food, it's industrial food that you're eating.
And say it was a high-class Italian restaurant, here. you're lucky if you're going to a place that's actually using tomatoes to make their sauce that's not coming from a can.
Oh yeah.
From a Cisco truck.
Right.
Like if you're even getting industrial tomatoes that like came from a farm at some point, like that's even a higher class version of what you would normally get. You're 100%. Lucky if the tomatoes are real when they bring them in the door, versus just being in a can and going, oh, okay, well, here's our 5-star cuisine, but I'm like, oh.
Yes.
So it's, the seedy underbelly of the restaurant industry.
Yeah. Don't let the white linens and all the beautiful tableware and tablescape and chandeliers fool you like it did me for many years. So that's number one, the eating at these 5-star restaurants, and then anything, of course, below that there's not even a chance of it being clean. Mm-hmm. Okay, number 2. We've got 10. We're at number 2.
Okay.
Don't eat meat. I've heard people come in the store and they'll say, oh, I'm a clean eater. And I go, oh, great. And it's like, because I don't eat meat. Or even specifically, I don't eat pork.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I can definitely see that.
Yes.
Or I don't eat red meat.
Or I don't eat
because
red meat.
Has, this stigma.
Yes, absolutely.
But I mean, the not eating pork can, it's usually a religious reason.
A religious reason.
So I could totally understand that.
Yeah. So I agree with these people in the sense of absolutely, I don't eat industrial meat at all. So whether that's red meat, pork, chicken, any of it, but they're saying it more of, well, I don't eat meat, so therefore I am a clean eater. Mm-hmm. And that has nothing to do with being clean eating because, of course, we promote a lot understanding pasture-raised meat. And we are so lucky here in Temecula Valley where we have a wonderful family farm called Primal Pastures. You can go and visit the farm and meet Paul, who's one of the owners and filled with amazing information. We've had him here in one of our videos. And if you want to see that video, please go to www.iamacleaneater.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you will see one of the most insightful videos ever when we interviewed Paul. I remember you watched the video and came back and said, Pia, 2 words. Righteous anger.
Oh yeah, I was consumed with righteous anger when I watched Paul's video, and I had even seen him speak at an event that you had organized earlier than that, but it wasn't focused solely on him the whole time. So I got a lot out of the video.
Yes.
But yeah, he was talking about the organic label, and but meat in particular was the subject.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, how red meat has this stigma, but yet chicken and fish is like got this glorified, kind of idea.
It's actually
kind of idea that chicken and fish are just like leaner, healthier. White meat is better. Red meat is bad.
Right.
And then pork.
Right. And it's not understanding at all. So please go to www.iamacleaneater.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and watch the video with Primal Pastures. I think it's called What Are You Buying? Is that the name of the video?
Yeah, What Are You Buying?
What Are You Buying?
Or it might even be interview with Paul from Paul from Primal Pastures. Either one, but you'll find it.
Find it.
But yeah, it's very insightful, and he talks about labels and marketing, and
the deceptive marketing.
The deceptive marketing commandment, just popped right into my head because he talks a lot about antibiotic free and what that means, and all sorts of other marketing phrases that literally mean nothing.
Correct. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3. This one actually bothers me a lot, because a lot of people use it, and then some people don't know what it means, but enough people do know what it means. Shop the perimeter.
Yeah, see, I hadn't heard that until you explained to me what that meant, and then I was like, okay, I sort of get that, but that was never really a phrase that got to me.
Okay, so let's
I can't really speak to that.
So people think because they're in a supermarket, go around the perimeter because that's where you find the produce. Okay, but that's also where you find the alcohol. It's also where you find the donuts. It's also where you find all the candy bars and the dairy and everything else. So just in of itself, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so All right, and then if you do shop the perimeter, let's imagine that it does make sense for 10 seconds. Let's
Okay.
imagine that it makes sense. We're shopping the perimeter and going to the produce. Well, it's all industrial produce, and at best, you're going to find industrial organic produce. And if you want to know the differences in these phases that we're going up, again, please go to www.iamacleaneater.com, and there's a pyramid that, and I'll post it in the notes here too, and that describes each of these levels. So shopping the perimeter, what do you get?
I've heard that phrase.
Yeah,
phrase
you've heard it before, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, when I heard, it's mainly because like the meat, you know, the staple foods basically that you need, the, you know,
Yes.
the meat, the eggs, the milk, the cheese, the vegetables, that kind of thing. And anything in the middle is, you know, more like cookies and
The processed
Yeah,
stuff,
processed
you know,
stuff.
yeah.
All
yeah.
your frozen food
Right.
is in the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah,
So
and that's what I used to think before I met you.
Okay.
You know, educating myself. But you know, yeah, that's was my version of it. And
Okay.
it's all
So now we see how this
Incorrect.
doesn't make any sense. Just shop the perimeter. We have to know what we're shopping for, what we're buying, and what's in what we're buying.
yeah, and
right?
if shop the perimeter is part of the consciousness, then you know that the grocery stores know this, and you know they'll
Yeah.
put stuff
Put
there.
stuff all around the
You
perimeter.
know,
yeah.
for the impulse buys.
Yes.
by the
exactly.
registers too.
Yeah.
Yes.
All that
Yeah,
stuff.
that's where all the
Yeah.
candy bars are.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they put it real down low so the kids can grab it.
Right.
And that's not strategic either, right?
Yes.
True.
Okay. Number 4. This one, I think everybody uses this, and I think this was in my cringeworthy 3 most cringeworthy statements on
Probably
my blog. I think this is one of them, and it is: if you can't pronounce it, then don't buy it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so how many people can pronounce lactus basilicus?
Lactus basilicus.
I can.
Well, I just thought I'd try it.
Yeah. Acidophilus.
Yeah,
Right?
acidophilus I'm very familiar with.
Okay, so those are things we want. They're
Mhm.
probiotics.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so but most people have a hard time pronouncing those ingredients, so they would look at something like that and say, oh, that has too many letters, I don't know what that is, and drop it when actually it's something that would be very good for you. So on the surface, this is an interesting concept, but you're really not understanding the ingredient list, which is commandment number 1. Let the ingredient list guide you. Not the nutritional facts, let the ingredient list guide you.
So I have
So-
a question. So if someone saw something on the back of a package and they couldn't pronounce it or don't know what it is,
Yeah.
so they should maybe look it up, Google it to see what it
100%.
was. or-
Most
Yeah.
people have a smartphone.
It's never
They're
been
there.
easier to look stuff
Type-
up.
Right.
I mean,
we're
do
in
it.
Right. It's so easy, right?
Yeah.
Just type it in, see what it is. I mean, it'll come up in seconds, and, and then you'll decide, do I want that or not want that?
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And this goes into the same category of if you can't pronounce it, don't buy it. And also, there's people say, oh, if it has just more than 5 ingredients, I don't buy it. And I don't understand that concept either, because there are some items I know that I have in the store that have more than 5 ingredients. They're all great 5 ingredients. They're
Yeah.
all organic, and they're sprouted with the nuts and some of the granolas and
Yeah,
things
like the
that.
grain-free granola is fantastic, and it has more than 5 ingredients because
Right.
there's like
And they're all
lots of
5
different
clean
lots of
ingredients.
different fruits and seeds.
Yes,
and
yes.
it's like it's all good stuff. So
Right.
you're gonna say, oh, okay, because there's seven fruits and seeds in this,
Right.
then
I'm not
okay,
gonna
that's
buy it.
too many.
Yeah, it's too many. And then if they're doing the under 5, I mean, the first ingredient could be sugar. It's not clean eating, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, look at the ingredients before you determine the number of ingredients, and then decide whether you're going to, reject or deny that item. Okay, continuing. This is in line with what you said.
Okay.
And the next 3 are kind of similar, but we'll go through each one of them. So many people come in the store. Okay? I'm vegan, therefore I'm a clean eater.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah,
Virtuous
that was my
vegan.
misconception.
And that was
Yeah.
what you were talking about right
Mm-hmm.
now. And so the issue with that is, let's go through some ingredients, or let's just go through some products, okay?
Yeah.
Diet soda, vegan. Right? Okay.
I love that.
Okay. Actually, soda, just regular cola, any type of soda, it's all vegan,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? Okay,
And
so
we know that's
and we
yeah.
know that that's not clean eating.
We know that that's not clean eating,
Right.
and we know it's not good for us. I mean, we
Right.
know.
We already know that. Okay, so let's go through any type of industrial oil, canola, vegetable.
Mhm.
You know, just go through and list them. They're
Okay.
all vegan ingredients,
Okay. Aye.
right?
That's just.
You're
I mean, I'm
like,
thinking of GMO canola oil. It's
Right.
like probably like the worst thing you can have besides high fructose corn syrup,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But even organic canola oil isn't great. We're going to talk about that one
Yeah.
too. So, okay, so we just listed a few things. Oreos, technically, are vegan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so okay. Here's the best one. How did I forget this one? Tofu and tofurkey. Tofurkey is the fake turkey.
Right. The
okay.
The imitation
So
turkey.
all of the imitation meats, all of those items
Mhm.
are all soy sauce. Soy sauce is vegan, I'm pretty sure. Most soy sauce, I believe, is vegan.
I think so, unless
There
some-
could be something in there that could be derived from something else. I could
maybe
be
like
wrong on it,
maybe
but
fish or
yeah,
something.
I could be wrong on it, but I thought it would. Regardless, let's just
Mhm.
stick with tofu, and we know that that's vegan.
For sure.
Okay, so that is not a clean eating ingredient.
Mhm.
So if someone just comes up on their own to say, I'm vegan, therefore I'm a clean eater, not exactly.
You're like, well, no.
Let's really talk about that,
It's like-
right? Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you define what veganism is to you, and then
Right.
let's go from there.
Yes, exactly. So I also a lot of times ask, well, clean vegan or maybe not so clean vegan, and go
Mhm.
through some of that, because they're at least trying, but I think some of it becomes too much on the activism component and not
Yeah.
too much an activist for your own body,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's number 5. And the next two are similar. So the next one is, I'm paleo, therefore I'm vegan. Or
Mhm.
therefore I'm a clean eater.
Yeah,
Okay, so,
and that's newer.
and that's newer. Okay, so I would say out of all the kind of the lifestyle eating plans, that paleo definitely is trying to do better,
Mhm.
just in general. But just because you're doing that, I've seen a lot of people do kind of a dirty paleo. So I had one woman, she said, oh, I've gained so much weight on paleo. I go, well, why? What are you doing? Well, she ate all sugary stuff, from brownies to cakes to pancakes and that's all she was doing. I go, but where's your nutrition coming from? Like, how are you actually eating?
Yeah.
So she wasn't really understanding nutrition, right? So
Right.
that is just like, oh, I get to have all of these foods. There's a blog on the I Am a Clean Eater site, which we're getting to this one next, but this ties into it, which is keto and clueless,
Mhm.
right? We could do vegan and clueless. We can
Mhm.
do paleo and clueless. And now we've written vegan, keto and clueless. So this goes into that category of, and then other people think, oh, you're just eating meat the whole time you're on paleo. You're just going to eat a bunch of meat. And it's like, well, that's not exactly right either. And if you're eating that much meat, is it all industrial meat? Well, then that's not clean eating either, right?
Yeah.
So just because, again, these lifestyle choices for eating have kind of hijacked the bigger concept of clean eating. And this is what we're trying to inform and educate on, is just because somebody has identified with a lifestyle choice does not mean it's a clean eating choice. Okay? So what do you guys think about paleo?
I think it's a great idea in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of things that paleo will avoid,
Right.
which are inflammatory
Exactly.
Foods.
Yeah.
So in it, that in and of itself, they're coming down from inflammation
Absolutely.
on paleo.
Absolutely.
And so that is, is also perceived as the weight loss. But if they're limiting the carbs and the sugar, like they should doing paleo, it's going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. But then long term, if you're not upping your game
But,
and making
yeah.
the better choices.
But only in the beginning.
Only, correct.
As an extended
Yes.
lifestyle, it eventually it's it's going to catch up.
Right. Right. So if we're looking for definitions of these things, vegan, of course, is no animal product at all. So no honey, like not even honey, right? But you could do sugar. I mean, sugar is vegan. And then for paleo, basically it's the removal of all grain, dairy, sugar, and legumes. Those are the big four. And they've identified those big four because generally those big four, those categories, are known to cause inflammation. So they say, well, let's remove those items first as an initial elimination and see how you do. And that was your point is, you're going to see some inflammation come down because you've eliminated those inflammatory style foods. But as a long-term lifestyle plan, if you're still 2 years into your clean eating journey and think that eating an RX bar is okay, well, it's not. You haven't moved the dial. You're not upping your game when it comes to clean eating. So at the beginning, if you're like RX bar, Hot Pocket, yeah, okay, RX bar wins, right? But if you're 2 years into it and you're still buying RX bars thinking you're still, okay, this is great, I'm at the pinnacle of my clean eating journey, wrong. Okay, it's just not accurate.
Right. Well, like you said, let the ingredient list guide you. It's
Right.
like, okay, so look at the ingredients of your RX bar, and is that really better?
Right. It's just you're still promoting sugar burning.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So now number 7, we're counting up to 10 of the 10 most phrases that people use to convince themselves and others that they are clean eating. And number 7 is I'm keto, which seems to be every third person that walks through the door.
It's very much in vogue.
Yes, exactly. And I always preface this by saying, honestly, keto is not a fad. Okay, it's really not. It's actually a really good, concrete thinking of what we should be consuming, right? Which is higher levels of fat over carbohydrates, a sensible amount of protein, and vegetables. That's kind of the idea of keto. The issue again is people come in and see that it's a license for a 16-ounce porter steak with a pound of Land O'Lakes butter. Well, that's all industrial food. That's not clean eating. And then with a big heaping thing of some sort of cheese or something on top, which again is not clean eating.
Yes, you've got a huge piece of industrial meat.
Yeah.
Which, watch the Primal Pastures video and you'll know what that means.
Exactly. Yes.
So a bigger piece of huge piece of industrial meat,
Yes.
and then 2 different things of industrial dairy, which Paul talks about in that video
Yes.
too. That
Right.
Like dairy is scary.
Yeah. Yes. That is so true. Oh my God, that video is so good. Again, go to www.iamacleaneater.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can watch all these wonderful videos. So again, people will go and say, oh, I'm going to go through In-N-Out and do a protein style burger because I'm keto or paleo. In that case, that's where they are simpatico. And it's like, well, none of that is clean eating.
Or they go to Starbucks and get a coffee that has the whole fat cream, like the...
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
And they
And
think that's-
well, the paleo person won't do that, but the keto person.
The keto
will do
person,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I was-
exactly.
keto.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's number 7. I think we're all going to love number 8 the most, and I think 8 is going to be very controversial. Are we ready for
Okay.
it?
Controversial.
Yes.
Fun. Let's do it.
Okay. Number 8 is, well, I only buy organic, so I'm a clean eater.
Right.
Okay. So who wants to start?
Oh gosh, I don't even know where to start on that.
Okay, well, I do.
Okay.
Okay, 2
All right.
words. 2 words,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Organic Doritos.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's not clean eating,
Mhm.
right?
No.
Going back to what we were saying before, organic canola oil, the 3 words,
Mm-hmm.
not clean eating,
Mhm.
right? Organic sugar, still not a great ingredient.
Mhm.
Organic soy, still not a great ingredient. You're taking in industrial, or let's just talk about fruits or produce. Let's just talk about produce. So well, I only buy, organic produce that's organic. Okay, good. That's good. We're not dissing on that. That's a good first step because
It is.
that's better than industrial.
Mhm.
And if you want to watch an amazing video that we did with Randy Farrar from Harvest to You,
Mhm.
that was a really good video and a super eye opener when it comes to potatoes. Oh my God, you will never want to eat an industrial potato again.
Mhm.
So please subscribe to our videos on YouTube. So
Industrial tomatoes too.
and industrial tomatoes and strawberries are some of
Mhm.
the worst produce that you can buy at the industrial level. So then we say, okay, so
because they're
yes,
so in demand
Yeah.
that the growing practices are just abysmal.
right. So now we say, okay, yes, the better version of that for sure is organic. That will be industrial organic, but yes, the move up from that. But there's still, I'm not sure the exact number, but I believe it's over 200 pesticides, approved pesticides for organic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's at least 100. It might be 200.
Okay.
But yeah.
We have to get that number right. But in there, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just
somewhere
this
in there,
huge
1 to
number
200.
that's still approved for organic.
Mhm.
So what do we say then? We say, well, what is better then? If I can't do the industrial organic, what am I looking to do? Well, we recommend as much as possible, and you've heard us say this before, local organic.
Mhm.
Okay, so in our area, again, we're lucky. We not only have Primal Pastures for our meat, which is true local pasture, we have Harvest to You, which is a CSA, basically. They work with farms around our area that will deliver true local organic produce to your door, and that is eating in season. So then we start to understand, oh, this is what's being grown right in our area and available for us now. So I'm really trying. I'm 5 years into my clean eating journey, and I've been trying for a long time to eat seasonally. It's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, it's for me it's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so even though I live in California, which is an amazing place to live because you could get so many
Because
things.
the growing season is
so
so much
long.
longer than
Yeah.
than other places.
But
It's
I
true.
still love blueberries, and I will eat blueberries in February, and they don't grow here in February. So I know
Mhm.
I'm getting those organic blueberries from a different country.
Yeah.
So again, not that it's bad, but if you really want to up your game when we start to get into understanding the whole local and in season, that's what we mean when we say that.
Yeah, and
Okay?
there's reasons why you want to do the in season, because if something's in season, it's actually growing during that season you're eating it.
Right. And it's cheaper.
And it's being harvested. So it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
It's going to have more flavor.
Right.
Going to have more nutrients.
Yeah.
And it's
it's
how
better for the farmer.
Yeah, it's better for the farmer,
a-
and
area.
it's
Mhm.
better because we were designed to eat a variety of food.
Yeah.
Not to always eat the same thing all the time, because
Exactly.
we wouldn't have that opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
Even
matter
meat
no
is
matter
supposed
where
to be
you
seasonal.
yeah, no matter
Yeah.
where you were, even if you lived in an industrial city historically, like certain things were not going to be available to you.
Yes. Yes.
So, and
Yep.
you would go through cycles of eating,
Yes. Absolutely.
or you were growing your own, and it was happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that one, how controversial did you think it was?
Well, it is controversial because people think organic is like this holy label. Like,
Yes.
oh, it's
That,
okay.
The be all end all.
It's okay
Yeah.
if it's organic.
It said it was organic.
If I see
Yeah.
the organic label, that means it's safe food.
Right.
And that's just a misconception.
Correct.
Because, you don't really understand all about the organic label.
Right.
And what the requirements are for anyone to use it on their product.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So we are coming down to our last two. Number 8. I'm gluten-free.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think so obviously there are people who legitimately have
Yes.
celiac issues
100%.
and they have to avoid it, and it's never, I think, been easier to be gluten-free than it is right now.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, which is great for people that need to avoid it. Gluten,
Yes.
you know, is absolutely the best time to be gluten-free.
Yeah. So many great
but
options.
what I'm seeing is that so much stuff that would never have gluten in it anyway says gluten-free.
Olive oil.
And you're like, yeah.
And it's like, well, olive
there
oil
would never have been gluten in there.
Right.
So it's become a marketing ploy more
Yes.
than it is to legitimately be there for people with celiac.
Yes, exactly. So many people think because I'm going to remove the gluten, because they've had a friend that would say, oh, I went gluten-free and I lost all this weight. And it's like, well, they could have had a legitimate sensitivity to it that was causing inflammation, and so really what they were losing was inflammation, not really weight, and they misunderstood that and thought the same thing was going to happen to them. Meanwhile, they're just switching one bad carb for another, and a bunch of sugar. They're having even more sugar. There's so many things. Some of the worst foods available today in the regular supermarket are labeled gluten-free. Okay?
Yeah, and that's not a license, you know, and people are kind of using it as a license, like, oh, it's gluten-free, so it's okay.
Right.
You know, and again, just like organic, and just like with a lot of different labels, unfortunately.
Oh, it says it's vegan, it must be clean.
You know, clean doesn't,
or it must be
you know,
healthy.
that label,
Yeah.
you know, is the be all.
Yes, exactly.
You know, but you still have to investigate it.
And by investigating it, we mean really understanding the 10 commandments for clean eating, because it's never telling you what to eat. It's simply informing and educating you on what to eat for you and identifying that for you. So go to www.iamacleaneater.com and look at the 10 commandments for clean eating and all of our videos on the 10 commandments for clean eating, and you could get started there. That's a great place to start. Okay, drum roll, please.
All right.
We are down to our 10th one. Okay.
Okay, 10.
So,
let's go.
So and again, I noticed that some people understand this term and some people don't. So there's two ways to say it. One is the 80-20 rule, and the other way to say it is eat everything in moderation.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that one.
Okay, the moderation one or the 80-20?
Not the 80-20, but the eat whatever in moderation.
Okay, so they kind of mean the same thing. So it's like, do the best you can 80% of the time, and then the other 20%, you know, let it rip. You know, just, oh my God, I'm going to...
It's like that concept of cheat days.
Yes,
you know, with certain diets will say, okay, it's okay if you have a cheat day. You know, so you're looking at your week and you're like, okay, so Monday through Saturday, I'm going to be a good girl, and on Sunday, I'm just going to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I'm going to have those
bring
Cheetos. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to bring in everything, and I'm just going to binge that day because I get to have whatever I want.
Yeah.
You know,
and how exactly is that healthy for your mind, for your psyche, for developing any of that? None of it is. So that's the kind of 80-20 rule in general. I mean, I think there are some people that are using the 80-20 rule a little bit more responsibly.
Oh, sure.
In the sense that they'll say, oh, well, 80% of the time you're going to do the best that you can, and then the other 20%, if you go to a restaurant, yes, you're going to be in industrial food, but maybe just order, you know, beef instead of chicken, you know, because beef actually is cleaner at the industrial level. Yes, that's shocking, but it is. And then maybe a side of, you know, Brussels sprouts. And so you're doing that in the 20% rule, which is where I would fall into that 80-20 definition. But there's a lot of different definitions for that 80-20 rule. Then that dovetails into, oh, everything in moderation. And it's like, okay, really, everything in moderation. I mean, there's like, where do you draw the line with that?
Yeah, well, like a few people that I knew that, you know, kind of had this everything in moderation mentality would have like a certain size bowl or whatever.
Okay.
And would just be like, okay, I can have whatever I want as long as it fits in this bowl. because it's small.
What?
Like,
Okay.
so I can have
Did the
this
height matter?
well, yeah, the height mattered.
Okay.
So you couldn't have it like spilling out. You know, it had to
I got
fit,
another
it had to
scoop
fit
on
in there.
top of ice
But
cream.
yeah, but it was this idea of like portions are a big thing.
Okay.
Like, you know,
Okay.
or I've even heard okay, well, this is the size of your stomach, so you shouldn't have any more than this in any given meal.
You're right.
Like whatever the size of your fist is. And, you know, I was like, okay, well, I sort of get that. And, you know, some people might be really successful with that,
Right.
you know, for a certain amount of time because it'll keep them from eating, like, say, a huge bowl.
Right.
You know, so if they ate a fist size, it would keep them from, you know, from eating.
Overeating.
Absolutely
Yeah.
overeating.
Right.
And, you know, I think the moderation is kind of that same intention.
Okay.
It's like a portion. Like, so as long as I don't eat an entire package of Oreos, I'm okay.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if I ate
totally.
an entire package of Oreos in one day, that's, you know, that's a big deal.
Right.
That's a shock to my system.
Yeah.
But if I have like a serving size of Oreos, I think is 3.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if I had
That's okay.
so if I had 3 Oreos a day, that would be eating Oreos in moderation
Right.
compared to my whole package.
Yes.
So of course, if I went from whole package to 3 Oreos a day, you're going to see a difference.
Right.
Because it's the quantity issue.
Yes.
So I think that's what moderation might have been intended to do.
Yes, which is right, but still, Oreo is not part of clean eating at all. That's just a processed nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And as good as you might think they taste, whoever is out there and thinking that they taste great, trust me, when you remove them, okay, for a minimum of 30 days, and then you go back to them, you'll definitely be like, huh? What?
Right,
Why
because
did-
you've heard that
why
they
did I
changed
even love this?
they changed the Oreo. The Oreo recipe is different in China than it is here, and in most of the Asian markets because they're not used to eating as much sugar as us.
Yeah.
So they had to change the recipe to have less sugar in it because they weren't selling there. And then as soon as they did that, they sold more.
Yeah, yeah. But I wonder what the other, I mean, that's the sugar component, but I wonder what the other chemical,
Yeah,
all
I
the
don't know if they
ingredients that are
changed
all
the chemicals in the
chemical-based.
recipe, but
Yeah.
that was the general idea, is that the less sugar made it a more effective product in a different country.
Yeah. So I totally get that for, like, the quantity. We're trying to explain to you quality versus quantity and understanding that what are you buying.
Mhm.
So I understand that when it says, in moderation. But in
Mhm.
general, why would you want to have any type of chemicals at all that are part of foods in your body? This
Yeah.
is the part that I don't understand when it comes to everything in moderation.
Well, and I think it sets you up for failure too, because if
Oh,
you
yeah.
can eat literally anything
Right.
with but a small amount of it, that allows you to, have your Cheetos and your Oreos
Yep.
and all of your extremely processed foods. You can have fast food as long as you don't have 2 Big Macs. You just
Right.
have one.
Just one.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
Yeah.
it also sets you up for failure, because if you're eating all of those, kind of cheatish foods,
Yeah.
or just plain horrible foods, all the time, that's still going to have a negative effect on you, even if you're
Absolutely.
having a small amount of it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'll just have a little bit of poison today,
Yeah.
and I'll just have none for a couple of days,
Right.
and then I'll have a little more poison again. It's like, I'm sorry, but it's going to be cumulative at some point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So our star today is Beth, of course. And I'm so proud to say not only is she my friend, but she has started her clean eating journey. And her journey is absolutely fantastic. And we're going to talk to her again in the coming weeks about how she started her journey, where she's at, where she's going, some of her goals, and start to track all throughout the year updates. And we're going to get them here, part of our Monday Night Insights, so we can keep track of how she's doing and giving so many great tips. She's often in the store, and so when you're here, she's, talking to other customers and really going through, all of the tips that you've come up with that are helping you on your journey.
Yeah.
So, and that's what's most important here, is understanding that this is a journey. It's not something you just start today and like, oh, I got it all right, look at that. And in fact,
or you don't go, okay, there's my pantry, I'm just going to chuck it all.
Right.
And then I'm going to replace it all right away.
Right, exactly. So we're going to learn more about Beth and her journey in the next coming weeks. Until then, please go to www.iamacleaneater.com. You can follow us there, sign up for our emails. We are working on a wonderful self-paced 7-module course.
Oh, that's
called,
going to be so exciting.
I know. It's called Get Food Smart, Join My Tribe. This is part of my tribe, and I want you to be a part of it. So please go to www.iamacleaneater.com, sign up so we can get you on our email list, and we are going to see you next time. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.